What is going on, YouTube? It is All Things Mets Media, and this video is going to be about the New York Mets. So leave a like, comment, and subscribe, and let's get into the video. Fransisco Alvarez, baby, that's what this video is about. 2023. The Mets got rid of James McCann. So Fransisco Alvarez is definitely probably going to start in 2023 or be a DH in 2023, but we're going to talk about it. Guys, Fransisco Alvarez is a rookie sensation. This guy is 21 years old. This guy is so young. In 2022, the Mets brought him up at a very weird time. Fransisco Alvarez, the Mets, all this talk about Fransisco Alvarez and the Mets and this need for power for the New York Mets. The Mets brought Fransisco Alvarez up in 2022 at the worst impossible vulnerable situation, either like sink or swim situation that he could possibly be in. And that was a series against the Atlanta Braves that they only had to win one game and they would have won the division because they would have got the tiebreaker. But the Mets did not end up winning, any one of those games in 2022 against those Braves in that last series against the Braves at their home park. But this was a lot of pressure to put on this kid. This was so much pressure. It wasn't the right moment. I don't know what the Mets were thinking bringing this kid in, with all this pressure. Yes, Fransisco Alvarez had opportunities, to drive in some runs, hit some home runs in this series, but he just didn't deliver. And at the end of the day, he's a rookie. The minor leagues and the major leagues are completely different. The pressure is different. The atmosphere is different. Everything is different in the major leagues. Yes, it's still baseball, but at the end of the day, guys, if you really think about it, Fransisco Alvarez bringing the Mets bringing Fransisco Alvarez in that situation just wasn't the right call. It wasn't. So, it's a brand new year. Fransisco Alvarez in 2022, batted 167 in 12 at-bats. He hit one home run, one RBI. At the end of the day, he is going to be the future of the New York Mets. Definitely, guys. This guy has a power potential of 20 to 30 home runs. So we'll see what happens, honestly, with Fransisco Alvarez. But what do the Mets do with Fransisco Alvarez in 2023? Now, there are certain options that they possibly could do. They could, definitely keep him at AAA for a month and gain a year on his free agency, if they keep him, in AAA. So then, but also they could, bring him up to the major leagues and have him be the starting DH for the New York Mets. And the New York Mets need power. They need power. The Mets have not made a lot of, additions offensively in this offseason. Yes, they've made so many, auditions. They made so many additions, definitely like Senga, definitely bringing back Brandon Nimmo, these guys. But offensively, guys, they didn't really do a lot offensively to change the structure of this lineup, to bring in power hitters. So Fransisco Alvarez in 2023, guys, he's probably going to be the DH at for the New York Mets. And that is a lot of pressure to put on a kid. Definitely you want Fransisco Alvarez to catch. At the end of the day, you want Fransisco Alvarez to be your starting catcher. You do. But also, guys, he's not the best catcher in the world. He's not defensively, the best. Thomas Nido is better than him defensively. Omar Narvaez is better than him defensively. And, when you think about it, what is Fransisco Alvarez going to do in 2023? You're putting a lot of pressure on Fransisco Alvarez to catch guys like Justin Verlander, Max Scherzer. These guys are, definitely going to be Hall of Famers, future Hall of Famers. So you're putting a lot of pressure on, Fransisco Alvarez if you try to, make him your starting catcher, which I don't think that they're going to do. I think that they brought in Omar Narvaez. They still got Thomas Nido, so With the DH, it gives the Mets more options. And I think that definitely, guys, the Mets and the New York Mets are going to have Fransisco Alvarez as the DH. Right-handed DH. I think he's going to be the DH. Do I think this is the right decision? This is a tough one. Because I want Fransisco Alvarez to catch. I want him to get reps. I want him to learn. I want him to have experience in the major leagues as a catcher. So it's going to be a real tough situation in 2023 with what the Mets do with Fransisco Alvarez. Do they just keep him as DH for the whole year? Do they let him, catch some games? Do they have him as a backup catcher? It's going to be a real tough situation because the Mets possibly could have 3 catchers on the roster in opening day at the end of the day. With Omar Narvaez, definitely Omar Narvaez is probably going to be the starting catcher. Just because of his offensive potential as well. Omar Narvaez was a former All-Star. 2022 wasn't the best year for Omar Narvaez, but at the end of the day, the Mets, they have options in 2023 to be the starting catcher. But this video is about Fransisco Alvarez. And guys, I think that Fransisco Alvarez definitely has the potential to be a 20 to 30 home run hitter. Yes, I saw those 12 at-bats from the in 2022. I saw that this guy is a power, basically he sells out for power. He's trying to hit a home run. Fransisco Alvarez is trying to hit the ball hard, and he's trying to hit it out the ballpark at the end of the day. If you look at all of his at-bats in the minor leagues, this guy possibly, with those home runs, he hits a solo home run and then he strikes out 3 times or 2 times. It's never a home run, a double, a single. Fransisco Alvarez sells out for power. He's trying to hit a home run. And that's something that he's going to have to learn that he just can't do in the major leagues. Yes, we want Fransisco Alvarez to hit home runs, but we just don't want him to just be an all-out home run or strikeout hitter. I definitely don't want Fransisco Alvarez to, strike out so much in the major leagues. And it's the major leagues, guys. They're going to take advantage of Fransisco Alvarez and his approach. So you really got to think about the situation. It's a tough one. It's really a tough one because this guy has power potential, but you don't want him to sell out for power. You want him to hit home runs, but you also want him to be a good overall hitter at the end of the day. That's what you want. But, the Mets and Fransisco Alvarez, there's going to be some learning. There's definitely, going to be some bad moments with Fransisco Alvarez. He's probably going to strike out a lot in 2023 because if he doesn't change his approach, he's definitely going to strike out a lot. And at the end of the day, I want Fransisco Alvarez to be successful. He is the top prospect in all of the pipeline. This is the first time the Mets have had the best prospect in the MLB pipeline in such a long time. I don't know if they even had the best prospect in all of the pipeline before. I know Ahmed Rosario was close, but guys, we'll see what happens in 2023. But I think that, definitely Fransisco Alvarez has the potential to hit 20 to 30 home runs. This guy has the potential to be successful, but he just has to, just not sell out for power. At the end of the day, yes, the Mets would take, a guy that hits 25 to 30 home runs with a 200 and 20 or 30 average. Of course the Mets would take that because you can't ask your catcher to be the best offensively and defensively. Not everybody is JT Realmuto. And JT Realmuto struggles as well. He is one of the best catchers in ever. But Fransisco Alvarez, we'll see what happens in 2023, guys. But I think definitely the Mets should have him as the DH, right-handed DH. and probably either Vogelback or someone else as the left-handed DH. But I think that this is going to be a weird situation, a hectic situation. It's going to be hard. It's going to be a very difficult situation because you want Fransisco Alvarez to be successful. But, like I said, that's just me personally. That's my personal opinion. I want Fransisco Alvarez to be successful. I want him to do well. We will see what happens, man. But at the end of the day, if you enjoyed the video, leave a like, comment, and subscribe. This has been All Things Mets Media. I'm going to definitely get some consistent videos coming for you guys, some live streams. I'm really going to make the effort to, make this channel better. 2023 is going to be a great year for this channel. I love you guys so much. Let's go Mets.